For only the third time in the history of the World Cup, all four semi-finalists are former champions, the four highest ranked teams on the planet. No Cinderella story, no shock name in the last four. The Giants closed the whole thing out. But that's the exception. Underdogs topple giants at every tournament, and they don't do it by accident. There are 7 distinct ways they do it. Here's the complete playbook. And here's why, this year, none of it was enough. The most common way an underdog survives a night it's supposed to lose is to give the ball away on purpose. 2 compact banks, sitting deep, killing the space behind the defense, daring the favorite to break them down through a crowd. The logic is simple. The giant will have the ball. Just know where it can hurt you. 70% possession means nothing if every pass is sideways in front of a wall. The cost is discipline. Nobody breaks the line. Nobody chases the game the crowd wants them to chase, and the shape has to hold for 90 minutes and more. Greece did it for a whole European Championship in 2004. Champions without ever really needing the ball. And this year, Morocco rode the same block into the quarterfinal, past Canada 3-0, until France's depth and quality finally prized it open 2-0. Same method, different ending, verdict 8 out of 10. The foundation, every other underdog trick is bolted onto. Beaten this time only by a deeper squad over the full 90. The low blocks twin, and the only realistic way an underdog actually scores. You absorb, you win the ball, and you hit the space the giant left behind. 2 passes, 3 at most, before their defense gets home. For a smaller side, this isn't a style choice. It's the one route to goal that doesn't require outplaying a better team. And the beauty of it is that the favorite's own ambition is the weapon. The harder they push bodies forward to break your block, the more grass they leave in behind. You just need one striker who runs the instant the ball turns over. Saudi Arabia beat Argentina at the last World Cup doing exactly this, dominated on the ball, beaten by 2 transitions. Norway did it to Brazil this summer on 24% possession, then took England all the way to extra time before a deeper squad wore them down. Verdict, 8 out of 10. The highest ceiling an underdog has, and the most all or nothing. Miss your 2 chances and the block eventually cracks. When the gap in outfield talent is simply too big to close, you close it in one position instead. The goalkeeper. A keeper, in the form of his life, turns 3 or 4 1 in 10 saves into a scoreline that flatters you and buys the block time it hasn't earned. It works because no other player touches so many of the Giants' best moments. Every impossible save compounds the favorite's frustration, and frustration pulls a better team into forcing it, into shooting from range, into the exact low percentage football your block wants them to play. Tim Howard made a World Cup record 15 saves in a single knockout game for the United States in 2014. This summer, Switzerland's keeper dragged them through a goalless round of 16 tie against Colombia and won it 4-3 on penalties. But here's the limit. A goalkeeper can win you a night. He almost never wins you 2. The next round? Argentina's quality told in extra time. Verdict, 6 out of 10. A match stealer, rarely a tournament maker, a multiplier on the block, not a plan on its own. Sometimes the smartest thing an underdog can do is refuse to try to win the match at all, and aim instead to survive it. Every decision points toward one place, penalties. Because in a shootout, 120 minutes of talent gap collapses into something close to a coin flip, where nerve and preparation and one hot goalkeeper matter more than pedigree. There's no build-up play to be outclassed at, no press to break, no possession to lose. Just 11 isolated duels an underdog can rehearse as thoroughly as anyone on earth. So, you kill the game state, you manage the tempo, you defend the draw, without ever inviting the loss. Croatia built an entire run to the final in 2018 on back-to-back shootout survivals. Switzerland pulled it off once this summer against Colombia. It is, in the end, a gamble. And over a tournament, the variance cuts both ways. This year it emptied out. Verdict: 7 out of 10. The most reliable equalizer here precisely because it refuses to play the Giants' game. If you want the full science of what actually happens once it reaches the spot, who shoots first, where they aim, how keepers cheat the odds, that's our shootout breakdown. Cards up in the corner now. Open play is where the talent gap is widest, so the underdog attacks the one phase where it almost disappears. The dead ball. A rehearsed corner or a drilled free kick doesn't care that the opponent is ranked 20 places higher. It's a coached, repeatable margin you can bank without ever winning a single passage of open play. Roughly 4 in 10 goals come from set pieces, and they reward the things a poorer side can actually train: height, timing, choreography. Not the ball progression skill it hasn't got. So you over-index on them at both ends, score from your own and survive theirs, because the giant is hunting the exact same margin. Iceland, a nation of 330,000 people, knocked England out of the 2016 Euros on long throws and corner routines. Verdict: 7 out of 10. The most coachable edge a resource-poor side has, and the most wasted, because too many teams still treat dead balls as a defensive chore instead of an attacking plan. When you can't close the gap across the whole team, you outsource it to one player, one genuinely world-class individual, and you build everything around getting him the ball in the right place. The system exists to serve the one man who can produce a moment. 11 organized defenders can't legislate for, and in a knockout, one moment is all the maths requires. A single piece of magic settles a tight game, and the underdog only needs the once. The trade-off is obvious and dangerous. Mark him out of it, and the whole plan can walk off with him. So the talisman is the counterpunch, and the block is the reason there's still a game left to punch in. Gareth Bale carried a modest Wales side to a European semi-final in 2016 almost by himself. This summer, Egypt led Argentina 1-0 at halftime through their talisman's early strike. A giant genuinely rattled, before superior depth answered 3-2. Verdict: 6 out of 10. Real, but the most fragile method here. It hands the favorite a single, solvable problem to plan around. The last method flips the pressure entirely. Score first, then make the giant chase. Drop 10 meters, run the clock, manage every restart, and turn the favorite's own expectation into a weight around its neck. The underdog defends a lead. The favorite plays anxious. Game management as a weapon, not an afterthought, because the lead changes the psychology far more than the tactics. A better team that has to force it gets stretched, gets impatient, gets picked off. And the crowd that expected a routine win becomes part of the problem. Every second wasted, every smart foul, every substitution that protects the block does the front runner's work. But this is exactly where 2026 was cruel. The Giants had the bench and the composure to keep coming until the front runner's legs went. Egypt at halftime, Norway and Switzerland into extra time, all of them ahead or level or within touching distance, all of them reeled back in. Verdict: 7 out of 10. Psychologically the most potent weapon of all, undone this year by the one thing an underdog can't buy: depth. 7 methods: the low block, the counter ambush, the last line, the shootout gambit, the set piece steal, the talisman, and the front run. In almost every tournament, at least one of them puts a giant on a plane home. This time, every single one came up just short. And that's why, for only the 3rd time ever, the final 4 are all former champions. So, tell me in the comments, which of the 7 is the most reliable way to beat a giant? And could any of them have stopped this year's final 4? Next up, Before the final, we break down every World Cup final tactic since 1970. It's in the football curriculum playlist. I'll see you there.